Smells lovely.
Oh, good. Surendra's office, this is, that we take over every Monday. So
He doesn't allow us to don't take shower.
Sorry.
he said he doesn't allow us in if we don't take a shower.
Oh, you're lucky I got a shower.
We've got all this tech stuff, haven't we? We're on. So, hi everyone. I'm Lynn, and this is Madhav. Welcome, Madhav. Welcome everyone here as well. We've got a lovely gang of people, and happy to have you here. Welcome, Mandy and Kerry, and everybody else. We won't go through everyone's names, but I digress. So tonight, we, as per usual, will have a session where we catch up everyone who's new. So we've got a couple of new people in person, and if you're new online, you'll also get caught up, not get caught up per se, but you'll get catched up. So we will, the wonderful thing about Sahaja Yoga meditation, which is what we're going to do here tonight, is that it's collective. And what do we mean by collective is that we're all in it together. So that's on the more of the external part of it. On the internal part of it, it's collective with your own subtle system and your own state of evolution. So I thought it might be nice to talk about this map of us. So I did kind of intimate that we've got this amazing map of us, which we don't need to know everything about, but it's quite interesting. I like to use the analogy for how we manage ourselves quite often, in that it's our superhighway. So we've got the left lane. So in Australia, we drive on the left side of the road, so that's why it's pertinent. We have the left lane where, you know, we should be going nice and speed limit, not too fast, slowly. The right lane, which is if you're not going 10 Ks over the speed limit, get out of the right lane. And then there's the central lane, which is where we're trying to be, which is where we use the right lane when we need to, use the left lane when we need to, but we want to be in the present, in the balance, and not be too speedy, not be too lethargic, but we want to be in the present. So if we try to say, let's be in the present, everyone. So let's try right now. Let's try and be in the present. How are you going, Mandy? Feeling in the present?
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Sing.
Mm-hmm. Kerry?
I do have a habit of my mind wandering a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're online also, just try and think of the present. It's not easy to do unless something happens inside yourself to bring you into the present. So that's where we go to this map of us and see what it is that needs to happen to take us into the centre lane of our highway. I'm going to go and just stand there and point at things. Easily, not so easily. Can you see this chart? So this is the left lane, and that's in our subtle system, in the map of us, where the left lane is our emotions, our desires, the past and emotions. I think that's probably enough. Anything else you can think about the left side, Madhav?
I think that sums it up. It's kind of it's the feeling side.
And generally, what happens on the right side, in the right lane, is on the right lane, it's something we've desired on the left lane, which we enact on the right lane. So generally, nothing happens here unless we want it, but we enact it out. So I want to be CEO of something. So then I'll act it out here, and there'll be all sorts of things I want to do. So the right lane is our futuristic planning side. We want to sorts of things, helping you to see this chart better. So you have to use our right lane and our left lane in our daily life. You have to get things done, but you don't want to go too far on either side. So the problems in life are because we've gone too far on the right or we've gone too far on the left. And the magical thing that happens to help us be in the central lane is all of us have got this pure desire. This is a new concept, theoretical, but you'll see it in action when you get into meditation. So we've got this pure desire, which is to connect us, to evolve into the next stage of our evolution. Our next stage of evolution. So just to explain that a little bit more, we have all these dots. They may just look like dots, but they're energy centers or chakras, which you may have heard of in the system of yoga. And it represents our humanity's stages of evolution and our own individual stages of evolution. So, not to go too much into it, there were different entities, saints, incarnations who came at different stages of human evolution to try and help us to live better. So the last one we can know about, of course, is Christ came on this one to help us to forgive and go beyond that fighting kind of a thing, which we haven't really achieved, basically. So now the next stage is to go out of our brain and into this centre, which is the collective of ourselves, of all of our energy centres, and the collective of on the big picture of all those stages of evolution. So each of these centres are all integrated into this top centre. Deep and meaningful, but we'll get there. So basically we want to awaken this energy we've all got at the base of the spine, which happens just by wanting it to and asking your own energy to awaken. The triggering point is all of us together already having that awakened, and you then asking, I want to have that awakened, that will then awaken because your own energy recognises there's that energy here in the room or online, and your energy awakens because it's a vibe thing. So that's the theory of it. So to do that, all we need to do is ask that energy to awaken. And it's a relationship we develop with our own spirit, our own mothering spiritual energy that everyone has within them. So that's the theory of it. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So what we can do is go through that awakening of that energy and get into that state of meditation out of our mind. That's the short form of it. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but it's more easily understood when we actually get into that space. And then you kind of go, oh, that's what it is. I feel that. It feels good. So then we're going into that ocean of vibes and feeling and love and joy that's all around us, wanting to help us to evolve. So it's a nice place to be, basically. So should we do that? If you have any questions or it's sounding weird, feel free to ask.
How do we know? Sorry, it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
silly
yeah.
question.
No,
How do we
nothing
know
silly.
that we
I
have-
am silly, but you are not.
Yeah, how do we know? Do we get a feeling?
Yes.
Is it in our minds?
Yes.
Is it in our bodies or?
You feel it.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the proof of the
Should we
pudding.
be looking for the feeling or it just comes to us?
That's a good question. You should be looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see things?
No.
You don't see
So we
anything?
don't want to see things, we want to feel things.
Right.
So if you're seeing, you're not in it.
Yeah.
So you want to be in it rather than looking at it.
Yeah.
If you understand
It
that.
sounds like a real technique.
It is, but it's amazingly simple once you get in it. Ready to try it?
Yes,
Then we'll talk more about it. So, the flower's coming back now. What we do to get in it is we'll direct our attention inside by asking certain fundamental questions and then answering those questions. And we're just having a little conversation with our own spirit. Now, spirit, what is that? So when you're doing something and you're reviewing what you did, who is the person reviewing what you did?
cells.
So that's pretty much on your way there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's do that, and then we'll talk a bit more about it later. But then you might have felt it. Likewise, everyone online, whether you've done this before or it's your very first time, it's always lovely to do it, basically. So we try and keep in touch with all of the elements. So that's why we've got our shoes off and we've got our feet on the floor. We've got a candle because we're using the element of fire, light also. And obviously the air is all around us. If we were to have water, we would have water, but we don't. But we do on another occasion.
Got water in the bowls.
And we've got water in the bars, you're right, Gary. Astute. So let's just take our attention inside and just close our eyes for a minute, because it's all about you now. Just take a few deep breaths. And just review how you are. Now, we'll describe to you what we're going to do. Obviously, if you need to open your eyes to see because it doesn't make sense, then feel free. But if it is easy, you can keep your eyes closed, but open them if that's easier. So we will be putting our right hand on various energy centers on our left side. So we're going to use that right side power of action on our left side of desire to awaken that pure desire within us. So we'll start at the heart. So we'll put our right hand on the left side of our heart. So this question we're going to ask ourselves is, who am I? So just inside yourself, you're asking the question, who am I? Who is this I? Don't forget to keep breathing. We'll come down now just to beneath our rib cage. So it's the top of our stomach, still on the left-hand side, still with our right hand. And the question here is, am I my own master? The question being that, or am I just listening to others? Am I just influenced by whatever's on social media, on the news? Or am I my master, deciding what I'm going to do? So now we're going down to the hip. So it's where the body and the leg join at this energy center, which is adjacent to where our own mothering energy of evolution is residing. Now, this is a mothering female energy. So we're going to ask her. She's called Kundalini. Now that's a Sanskrit word meaning a spiral of energy. So we're asking our mothering Kundalini energy, please give me the truth about myself. Please give me the truth about myself. So now this mothering energy is just waiting for you to ask her this question. And she'll just travel up through your central nervous system, taking you to your next stage of evolution. So as she's traveling up, we'll go with her and answer some of these fundamental questions, because we're now awakening that lovely energy. mothering energy that's going to look after our life. So back up at the top of our stomach, we can now affirm, I am my own master. So nobody's telling you what to do. You are your own master. I am my own master. Just say that a few times. Now we'll go up to the heart and answer that question as who am I? I am the pure spirit. I am the pure spirit. Just feel how that statement makes you feel, as opposed to thinking about it. I am pure spirit. Now this left side is where we also have a lot of habits. So one of the habits that we're trying to cut our way through is of feeling guilty about things. So for some reason we think it makes us a good person if we feel guilty about stuff. It doesn't. It just sort of hampers our evolution. So we're going to take out all of those guilty feelings just by simply saying we're not guilty. We'll go into more of that later, but let's take our hand up now to where our neck and shoulder join. You can grab it with your right hand and just turn your head a little to the right so you can hold that area nicely. So here we're going to clear this guiltiness, which stops our progress, simply by saying, I'm not guilty. Just say that so many times that you don't feel guilty. I'm not guilty. A couple more times. I'm not guilty. Okay, let's go to the next energy center. So this one's at our forehead. So we're going to drop our forehead into the palm of our hand, kind of holding it firmly on the edges. And here we're going to say the affirmation that I forgive everyone. I forgive myself. So if you don't forgive, that squeezes this center. It's very difficult then to get into the next stage of your evolution. So we have to forgive here. Forgive everyone. So no need to actually think of anything or anyone in particular, but just generally, I forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. It just makes it so much lighter when we do that. I forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. Now we can do a little extra on this center. We can also go from behind. So if you take your hand behind and lean back, and you can just ask Mother Kundalini, if I've made any mistakes that I know of or I don't know of, please forgive me. So that just takes anything out of your mind. If I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. Okay, so that's done now, right? We don't feel guilty or... Let's go up now to the top energy center. So we're stretching our palm and putting the center of our palm onto the center of the top of our head. That makes sense? So this is the fontanelle bone area, which was soft when you were a baby. We're going to push down with the center of our palm. You can have your head a little bit forward to make it easy. So you're pressing down and massaging it by rotating the scalp a little. So you'll go in a clockwise direction, which is going to the left, going forward, going to the right, going back. I mean, it doesn't matter whatever way you're doing it, but if you want to do it clockwise, that's how it is. And here we have to ask for our self-realization. So that's getting us into that next energy center of 1,000 nerves, of integration of our entire life. Please give me my self-realization, if it's your first time, and those of you who are doing it again, please strengthen and establish my self-realization. Really desiring from your heart. So it's not a mental thing, it's desiring from your heart. And then just letting it go, raising your right hand above your head. So what you're looking for is to feel some coolness flowing through the top of your head. It might be hot initially, but it'll cool down. And minimum of minimum, you'll feel a little peace and a little gap between the thoughts. Just bring both hands open on your lap. Keeping your attention up where the hand was pressing, just above there. Again, don't forget to breathe. So by keeping your attention, it means just seeing what's happening above your head. It's just that breathing in your heart. Just let it flow up to the top of your head. If any thoughts come, you can just forgive the thought and just say, not this thought, not now, save it for later. Just slowly opening your eyes. We'll continue on with our meditation. After some time, we'll try and develop that feeling a bit more. So that's the start of it. Hope you felt a little bit of at least peaceful, a bit of quiet. So we'll stay with that feeling and get it a bit stronger in our second meditation. So for now, do we want to do a little bit of balancing in our second meditation?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
So we'll do that. We've got a excerpt of the lady you see in the photograph who started this whole meditation. So she awakened her Sahasrara. That's what this is called, the seventh chakra on our subtle system, the Sahasrara. And then she taught it to everyone, and now there's thousands of people who have that stage of awakening. So the theory is, with the 100 monkey idea, that once there's so many people already in that space, that the whole world then will move into that. That's the hope. So we've got an extract of a talk, a public program. She travelled the world talking about this method of meditation and that stage of our evolution. So we've got lots of lovely little excerpts we can play each week. So today's Madhav, you're going to talk about what we're going to hear.
Maybe we just listen to it.
Listen to it and talk later?
And talk later. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So we'll move aside so you can watch on the TV.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. The other day, I talked to you about the experience of truth, that the truth has to be felt through your central nervous system. If anything has to happen to your evolution, you have to feel it through your central nervous system. Otherwise, it is just a projection of your mind which falls off. And you are surprised at yourself. Like we call somebody as a friend, a dear friend, and one day we find there's no friendship. Maybe one day the friend may try to murder you, or you may try to murder that person. You just don't understand what happened to that love. Same thing about all our projections. We find it has no basis. It is so superficial. When we realize that all is so superficial, it has no basis, we just get frustrated. And we start thinking, what is all this? We are playing games. Why can't we be sincere? What has happened to us? Why are we so frivolous? Why are we so superficial? We may start taking interest in things which look superficially very deep, but ultimately we find it doesn't have any depth in it. And suddenly, to our horror, we discover that everything seems to be relative in this world. Nothing is absolute. So the experience of the truth has to be absolute. Means everybody should feel that way. If not, then it is something poetic. Because each poet sees the reality in a different way, describes it in a different way. But if he is a truthful poet, he keeps the essence at least the same. But when we say we have to feel the truth, by everyone in an absolute manner, what does that mean? That means when we get our self-realization, when we think we have got a new awareness of collective consciousness, that means we are connected with the whole, with the absolute, then every one of us who is like that should feel the same way. For example, there's a person who is sick, and you get 10 children who are realized souls, that we say are realized souls. Now tie up their eyes so that they cannot see at all, and ask them what centers are catching in this person. All of them will raise the same finger. This is the finger that is catching. And if you ask that person relating to that finger, have you got this trouble? He said, yes, but how do you know? How do these children know? So the truth is felt by everyone the same. Then it is absolute. If somebody sees a blue color, somebody sees a red color, then it is not the truth. And you'll be amazed when you become self-realized. If you read people who are self-realized, you'll be amazed, they say the same thing in a different way, in a different cup. But they say the same thing. It is very amazing that people who were in India, who were in Lebanon, who were in China, who were in England, had nothing to do with each other, had no communication whatsoever, and they say the same thing. So, down within us, there is something that is absolute, that tells us about the absolute. So the second experience should be of absoluteness. The divine power that is all pervading, if it is truthful, if it is real, then all of us who are feeling that power through this realization should receive the same message and not different messages. This is the second proof of truth. And you put this test to anyone who says that this is self-realization. This is a very, very important thing to understand. That truth has to be one. It has to be absolute. And if you can establish a rapport with absolute, you cannot have any other information but the truth.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think, well, sorry, I shouldn't say I think. I don't like saying I think. It was very interesting to hear Shri Mataji, the lady in that picture, talk about feeling. So I think you asked, how do you know if you feel it, or how do you got it, or what do you feel? And I think the first thing is that you feel a sense of calm and connection right at the top of your head, and quiet. And that's the first feeling that you really know it's something a little bit different than maybe being mindful or mindfulness, or then, I don't know, I can't think of anything else. But it's a different, quiet, calm feeling that you might not get in other.
And it's an actual
feeling
as opposed to an idea that you think about.
Yeah, it's not something you can think yourself through and kind of think to resolve as like a maths problem or something that you feel. And we say feel because at that moment the goal is to not think, but be aware of everything around you. So you have a moment of stillness and silence, and that's kind of what you want to get to every time. Well, that's what I feel that you want to get to every time.
Having a confidence in that feeling that the universe is going to look after you if you're in that feeling, as opposed to in the thoughts in your mind. So
Well, I think that's a good point, because when you think about something, or you're thinking that you need to do something, or you're feeling about something, so, I need to make dinner, or I feel hungry, so I should make dinner, it's always you're the actor. Like you have to do everything in those little stages, and it's all up to you, and you're kind of the main person. But when you're in that kind of centered, calm, careful space, you might make dinner, but you don't really have to think about it. It just kind of happens.
Or something doesn't go according to how you thought it should, and you end up going somewhere different, You got to have faith in yourself that your universe has taken you there for a reason. And somehow you go somewhere else and you actually find something better there than what you had thought you were going to do. And that was just, you were not thinking, and the universe looked after you and took you there. You go, oh, okay. So I don't actually have to think too much about my to-do list and tick things off. You have all the things you need to do, and then the universe gives you the opportunity to do them.
Well, it's serendipity. The thing works
Serendipity.
itself out. I think
Yeah.
serendipity, the right
Nice
term?
word.
It
Yeah.
works itself out. You don't have to worry about it or
Yeah.
think about it. But that's the first feeling, is that you have that sense of calm, and you have that sense of security, and you have that sense of quiet, but you're aware of everything around you. And then there's the second feeling, which is the sense of, I guess, connection. But I guess that's the reason we come here every week, because when we get to that still, silent place on top of our heads, we feel a sense of connection with everyone around the room, and kind of broadly, and it just keeps us secure. And I think that's the second feeling.
Yeah, and there's always the promise of more.
Yeah, but it's not kind of, you feel like, oh, next time I'll do a little bit more, next time I'll feel I get better. But it does.
It does actually get
gets
better the more
easier.
you do it.
But you're comfortable in it, and you kind of, it's a little bit's enough, but you want to do a little bit more, but you don't have to do it a little bit more all the time.
It is good to do a little bit of something each day.
Yep. And
Having said that if you go there at least once a day, that going there gets bigger and more prominent in your life, and so then you have that universe looking after you more completely.
So you're saying that we should be doing this once a day, but not for too long?
I would say doing it once a day is a good idea.
Yeah, no, I agree. I quite like doing it. I try, and we do it like a shortened process, which we'll teach you at the end, but we try and do that for 5 minutes a day. And
To start with.
before you wake up, after you wake up and before you go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the time when, I don't know about everyone else, but I have a little bit of time in the morning and a little bit of time at night when I don't have to respond to kind of work or make breakfast or do all those other things or have dinner. And
you naturally want to make a bit of time for it because it feels so good. And the day goes so much better. There's more things that we can add on as we go, but starting there is good.
Well, it goes to the last thing that was said right at the beginning of the talk, which is that you feel it on your central nervous system. And I don't know if anyone here felt something, but sometimes when you have your hands out and you're doing this process, you can feel a little bit of tingling, or you can feel a little bit of hot or a little bit of cold. The goal is to feel cool, because it just feels, it's a nice, pleasant feeling, like almost a cool breeze. And you're probably wondering why you're probably feeling different things on your fingers. And the reason is that some days you're feeling a bit depressed. Not like clinical depression, but sometimes, you've had a tough day at work and you just feel a bit upset about it, so you're more on the left. And sometimes you've had 3 or 4 coffees and you're feeling like you're ready to go. You're a bit on the right side.
And on the superhighway.
Back on the superhighway. And it's at those times that you want to get in the center and
take the middle lane.
And get to that quiet, secure place. And you don't have to do it all the time, but it's nice you can do it at the beginning of the day, and you'd probably be thinking to yourself, well, what can I do to kind of make the feeling easier to get to? How do I get more silent more quickly?
Yeah.
We're capitalists and we're all want to do it real fast and get it as much as we can.
And then so back to your point of the different things you're feeling in your hands. So that's actually our collective of ourself that we're feeling, which is all of our energy centers are on our hands. So those different fingers are the different energy centers. And if you start feeling a tingling on one of them, that means it's something to pay attention to in your life. And so it's all your journey of what needs to be paid attention to. So there's not a whole lot of rituals you need to do, but you just follow your feeling.
And it's about discovering about yourself. You learn a little bit about yourself and you kind of you can do little things to improve that feeling. Like
Yeah.
we can show you some exercises just quickly, and they're all things that take you about 5 minutes.
There's the general way of getting into meditation each time. So you don't need to go through the whole thing, although it's nice when we get together and do it. But say at home, tomorrow morning, for instance, when of course you want to do it, there's a short way to do that. So, Mud, if you want to show us how to do
We'll do
that.
the short way first. So we're going to kind of do two things that kind of get us relaxed and comfortable and make us feel secure and protected. And the first thing is that, and it's going to sound odd, but we're going to raise our left hand and revolve our right hand around it. And what we're doing is essentially we're raising that kundalini from the base of our spine, and we're tying it to the top of our head. So it's like a visual thing. You can visually think to yourself, well, now my attention and that kundalini is right at the top of my head, instead of having to say all those affirmations. You can, and I think there's a sheet right at the back that we'll give you at the end that kind of takes you through the long process, but if you can do it quickly.
So everything we've done, you've got the info there to take with you.
We do that 3 times. So we do it one more time and we tie it twice. And the reason we do it 3 times is because there's 3 little highways, three sides to you. There's a kind of right, a left, and a center.
In the center lane.
And then you do it a 3rd time.
So I hope you're all doing it online as well.
And then once you're in that state, sometimes you might not get in that state immediately, but you can kind of, it gives you time to get to that state. You want to be secure in that state.
If you do it kind of with your attention on it, instead of, multitasking, if you do it with single tasking, you can feel it immediately puts you into a nice state.
And you feel cool. And then, but there's a second thing you want to do, and it's called abundant, which just means your protection, to keep you in that secure state. And all you do is you have your right hand on your left, and you kind of raise it all the way to the right and back. And that's 1. And you do that 7 times. 7 energy centers. So that's 2. I always do too many or too few. So usually I'm multitasking when I'm doing this and thinking about something else. I think that's 4.
It is
5, 6, 7, I think.
It is.
And that's all there is. And you just do that when you start and when you finish. And it kind of serves to get you to that quiet, comfortable place.
Gets you into the place. I don't know if you can feel it now after doing that. Can you? Yeah.
And you will. And I still do, because that's just kind of when you're starting, you're kind of getting to that thing, and it's a new thing. But as you do it regularly, and it slowly gets better and easier, and it really, the tingling is one thing, but it's more about feeling relaxed and comfortable, I think, and getting in that space, that kind of thoughtless space.
I don't know if we want to do a balancing exercise as well.
Do that quickly. So feeling tingling, you often feel it on one hand more than the other, depending on how you're feeling.
Yep.
If you're feeling like you're on the right side, you feel it more on your right. If you feel like you're more on the left side, it's on the other.
Yeah, and there's two ways of knowing whether you're righting or lefting.
Yep.
So you may have been out riding a bicycle and going and winning a race in which you're in the right, or you may have been not able to get out for the day. Most you could do was put on Netflix and watch some mini series. You may be in the left. So you can know by what you've just been doing all day, or even better is you can do what he just showed us, raise the leg, and then just look at your hands and see what you're feeling.
I'm feeling both on the right and the left, because I imagine I did both all weekend. So I'm
strangely feeling the right.
Well, I guess if we start with the left, the easy thing to do
we're
is,
doing the left for you.
we talked about balancing the elements.
Okay.
And so the easy way is you just put your right hand towards the earth, and you just close your eyes and take a big deep breath, because you want to be relaxed more than anything. You just say to that Mother Kundalini, please take all that kind of feelings that are pulling me down, just take them out about my left side.
Speak a little louder, Mother.
Into the earth. Out of the left side into the earth. And you don't need to think, you just need to kind of take yourself, become thoughtless and relax. And if a thought comes, you just say to yourself, not now, not yet. Just let it go by. And if you want to say to yourself, you can just say, Mother Kundalini, please take all these feelings or these blockages or this tingling out of my left side through my right hand into the earth. And we'll just sit and be comfortable with that for maybe a minute. And once we're feeling a bit more centered, we're feeling a bit right, kind of revved up and right-sided. So same principle, but just the opposite. You just put your left hand and face it towards the air. So using another element. And just close your eyes and take a deep breath and say to yourself, Mother Kundalini, please take all this heat, all this excess heat out of my right side through my left hand into the air. And again, you can just take a big, deep breath, relax, and just let it happen. And that's it. You just open your eyes slowly and you see how you feel. Sometimes you feel better, sometimes it's a bit slow, but it's not really a big thing. Just kind of as long as you feel peaceful and calm, that's the main thing. And then once your 5 minutes is up, you can go start the day or finish it.
And if you want, we post daily meditations, 10-minute meditations in our WhatsApp groups. So if you want to get those, we can add you to those WhatsApp groups. Most welcome.
Thank you.
I promise not to spam you. And any questions, feel free. Also online, if you have any questions, feel free. We're most happy to get Mudder to answer.
Sure.
Or anyone here, actually.
I don't know if anyone felt anything in particular that was unusual or very hot, very cold, or everyone just had a good experience. Or...
When we did that,
Yeah.
time, that I felt, I don't know what it was, I suppose, definitely cooler and relaxed, I suppose.
That's nice. It's a good feeling, yeah. And it's something I find that sometimes, depending on the day, sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's harder. But gradually it becomes easier and gradually.
Initially you kind of think, oh, can't be, surely can't be. But then the more you do it, you think it is. It actually is.
And I think it's important to trust yourself when you do these things. Like sometimes it's really important.
It is.
Because it sounds very new and unusual. But I think that as long as the feeling's there, and that's really the thing that matters. And as long as you feel calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
Then
so it's actually for our own benefit.
Yeah.
And it makes us feel better. So you don't have to worry about anything.
It's not stressful.
It's taking out that stress thing, which is when you're thinking about stuff and thinking you've done something wrong, or maybe I should have said that, I should have said this, or we don't have to worry about that stuff. Because everything is what it is. And why, you just got to go around in your mind and you're reacting to this and that because somebody said something. It just takes that reaction away. Question? Excellent. Yes, please.
This is Florian from Romania.
Oh, lovely. Hi, Florian.
I usually focus on my chakras when I put the bandhan instead of counting. Is that bad? One at a time until I reach the sastra.
Oh, very nice.
You're doing a better job than I am.
Yeah. Nice, Florian. I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
So what Florian's saying that as he raises his, as he puts on the bandhan, It's one for each chakra. That's actually what it is. He's very advanced. Tell him it was good.
It's interesting when we were doing the balancing.
Yeah.
Everything you were saying, Mata, it was actually happening. And even though we've been meditating for years, it's interesting to just witness that it's actually happening. You can feel something in the left hand and it goes down into the earth, literally. And then it took me a minute to just acknowledge that actually it's happening. And just by doing this acknowledgement, I don't know, somehow it wasn't there. It was just, okay. The brain accepted.
No, that's really, really good. So it's a real thing happening. You're taking out something, some stuff, when you do that. And you feel it sometimes when you have a friend who's really upset and, you go and try and help them and tell them, all the positive things, and then you feel really bad afterwards and they feel really good. It's like you've sucked out something.
Yeah.
Taking on their energy.
Yeah. So you need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but you have to clear yourself out, because you're doing stuff.
Can you tell us about how to, when you're trying to meditate and you've got a lot of thoughts in your mind, what would one do to sort of push them away or settle them, or to get
that is that's the whole point of it, isn't it? To get out of that thinking trap. So there's various ways, Madhav.
I think it's important first to see what kind of thoughts are they? Like, is it you're planning something? Are you thinking like, I've got to kind of do this and do that? Or are you thinking like, I'm feeling a bit stressed out or upset because of this?
Or if it's somebody says something.
Oh, there's a beep at the car.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear something knocking. Like I'm listening to all the sounds. I'd really love to stop. I'd love to know how to stop listening to
all.
sounds.
It's a kind of acceptance that there's all sounds happening, but you're here. It's like you're not going to take away your awareness of everything, but you're going to be stuck more on that feeling.
Yeah.
So it's an awareness, but it doesn't bother you. You don't react to it. I think like you hear certain sounds and somebody says something, but it doesn't mean so much. It's practice, isn't it, really?
I mean, I like to say to myself, like, not this one, and then just let it go
not
by.
This thought.
Not this thought, or not this one. You just let it happen. I think. When are you going to say something?
That's that. And actually, it happens spontaneously. Because all this is actually clearing, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, because you are not the one doing it, your Kundalini is the one actually doing the work inside. So it will happen.
Yeah.
Spontaneous process.
And it's kind of identifying with the you that's watching what you're doing. So you go, oh, I'm doing that. Oh, I'm listening to all that stuff. And automatically you're kind of stuck onto the you watching. Oh, I'm thinking a lot. So that takes you one step away from it, so that you're not reacting to the fact that you're thinking portion.
So you need to remind yourself again and again, where is my attention?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Where is my attention? So when you remind yourself again and again, you actually come there. And it also will just be like vanished.
That's a good point, Shruti.
We often find that things start working. I go, hey, things are working, this feels great. And I go, oh, well, I've done it again, you kind of start I guess, with time, it becomes easier.
Yeah. And not to get cross with yourself when you don't.
Yeah.
When you go off on down a rabbit hole somewhere.
Yeah, not get disheartened. Sometimes
you go, oh, I went down a rabbit hole, but you'll be back. So
I think one of the nice things you've got to say to yourself is just be gentle with yourself. Some days it won't be great. And you kind of think, if you have a really busy day ahead of you, you kind of think it's just not going to happen. But that's okay. You just try again that night. and it helps when you try again that night. You just have to kind of be careful and be gentle with yourself.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. Be kind to you.
When you're talking about letting the universe take you where it wants or needs you to go, or is that along the lines of what they talk about The Secret, that sort of thing? Or different thing altogether?
I don't think I've the book, The Secret. I don't think I've ever read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a book and there's videos and things like that. People talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
It's sort of like asking the universe to take care of you or to help you.
Yeah, I think everybody's getting to that point where they would like that to happen, but it's how are you going to get that to happen is the question.
They talk about the special force within us. They talk about it.
Yeah.
But they haven't quite yet managed
Connected
to
to
awaken it, which is what Sahaja Yoga does. And Shri Mataji wanted it to be free for everyone, so that's why there's no charge. So there was a lot of conversation about it around us at the moment.
But if somebody's asking you to pay for it, you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
So it's like with the, I could be going on my own pet project now. The baby, how to look after a new baby. There's so many podcasts now that they're making, and it's, it's false stuff, and you've got to pay for it. And they're telling you, you're not looking after your baby properly if you don't do A, B, C, D, E, F. And
You have to subscribe.
and you have to subscribe, and then everyone's feeling really guilty because their baby's not sleeping through the night, or and they're saying you've got to go leave your baby out in the.
Lynn just had her first grandchild. So.
Yeah, everyone's trying to behave according to what the podcast says.
I subscribe and it's so working.
Yeah, exactly. So, your own instincts, your own connection to the universe is going to take you to the right place. So you don't need to subscribe to the podcast.
I don't know if anyone else wanted to share anything or anything.
How was your week, Dylan?
Comments?
It's going good.
Going good? How's your meditation going?
Yeah, I feel that it's my experience. Over time, I was doing this. I'm getting sensitive enough to feel what's happening in my hands,
Nice.
and also following the procedure step by step. So that keeping my mind here in the present, and so I'm feeling better.
Getting better. Excellent. Good to hear. Oh,
Yeah. Now I'm doing it. Before it's on and off.
yeah. So you're seeing a difference with doing it every day as to doing it
I
sporadically?
can quickly focused on the process and keep away the distractions. I'm not distracting. Before I used to distract during the process. My thoughts run away somewhere. Now it's not, pretty much sticking there until we finish.
Very good.
Yeah.
So Dilip's just for everyone online, he was just saying he was doing his meditation occasionally, and now he's doing it every day, and he's feeling a big difference. They're starting to feel in his hands and to have that confidence in what you're doing, really. Good job, Dilip.
Good for me.
Yeah, good for you. Thanks, everyone. That was really good. Let's do it again next week. Thanks for joining us, Mandy and Kerry. It's lovely to meet you. Look forward to doing again next week.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone online. It was lovely meditating with you all. And we'll see you next week. And many thanks to Vara and Surrender and Chaitanya for the tech support tonight, which was super duper.
Thank you.
The process we went through as well today. But you don't have to do that.
Okay, bye everyone. We've got some music that you can carry on meditating with that Vara's nicely providing for you.
What is this guy's name?
Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji. Wow. night, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you next week. Bye.